and welcome to Conversations with Anglicans. I am Ayanna James, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Peridot Webster, who is from the parish of St. Andrews in Hoover. Hi, Peridot. Welcome to Conversations with Anglicans.
Hi, Ayanna. Thank you very much for inviting me. I appreciate it.
I saw you when you were doing the Entrepreneurship World Cup, and I saw, when that was shared with us, and then I saw you at the virtual Bible convention. So it's really a pleasure to chat with you today. So we're going to jump straight into it, and I would like you to share with us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Peri for short. I'm a work in progress, just like anyone else. I really love doing radio and television broadcasting and being an MC. And I also love the business that I'm in, fitting women for bras, etc. Because that's a struggle that I could relate to. And yeah, that's me. It's just Peri.
Yes. So of course, one of the questions that I tend to ask people that I interview is, how has Anglicanism impacted you personally?
Oh, it has, when you say you get a good foundation, I think being brought up in the Anglican Church gives you a good foundation in Christ. One of the things that I am most grateful for is that my mother introduced me to Christ. I don't get it right all the time, as I said in the other interview, and I am far from being a saint. But that good foundation that you really have that to go back to when you have your low moments, that you know that the foundation is still there. So it has impacted me, one, because of the good foundation, the solid foundation that it gives to an individual, and two, it gives you a sense of community and to respect the power of community. And I think that is something that we take for granted now, the power of community, and whether that community be where you live, as in your postal address, or your church community. And once you have a good community, I have been very, very blessed in that I have been raised within a good community, a good church community. If somebody doesn't hear from you in a little while, they're going to call you and message you, Peri, all right? It may not be everybody, but rest assured, someone is going to call and ask, where you okay? And that is the power of community for someone to talk to, for protection, if you want to put it that way, and for comfort. But that is how it has affected me. Another way that it has affected me, because of my love of media and communication, I started to read in church at the age of 9. And my mom instilled in me from very, very young to read, and to read with expression, right? Actually, that's how I stopped sucking your finger when you're younger, because mommy used to say you can't read news like Dominic Calipasad and suck your finger at the same time, and that's how I stopped. And when I met him for the first time, I gave him that joke. So being in the community of church gave me the opportunity to be able to perfect that, because you had people like my mother, you had people like Mr. Griffith and Miss Moore, both of whom are deceased. May they continue to rest in peace. People like Miss Andre, people like Miss Matthews, people like my Auntie Claudia Bachmeyer. She recently passed away as well. All of these people formed a very, very good foundation for me for the field that I am currently in. Because if they heard you read something, if you're reading the lesson, they may pull you aside afterwards and say, this is how this is pronounced, and this is how you could have inflected your voice a bit more. You did a good job today. You know, that is the community. I'm not chastising you to say you're doing a bad job, but really nurturing. I have been blessed that I grew up in a nurturing environment. With every relationship, it will never be perfect. So you would have the ups and downs, but I can't put a price tag on the kind of foundation that I got within the Anglican Church. I really cannot.
Wow, I really liked hearing you talking about the community, and even now more than ever in this pandemic, community is so important. So I'm really glad to hear you say that. So one of the things you spoke about when telling us about yourself is that you have your business, right? Peri's Plus. Right now, I'll share this. I wanted to have my own business. It had to do with books and food, because those are the two things that I like, whenever, sometimes my job gets me frustrated, I fantasize about having a business, but I'm just really scared, to be honest, about starting a business. Now, walk us through, Peri, how you came about with Peri's Plus, and what was the process to get your business established?
So how Peri's Plus came about, I've always been, they have a nickname for me in work, the Black Syrian. They just call me that. Yeah, long time. But I'm very passionate about I've always been very passionate about having my own business, because I think, especially persons of African descent, we need to show our children more examples of it.
Yes.
And I mean, at that time, I just had my first son, who would be 15 in December. And now that I have more children, the push is there even more. I've always been a very persistent person. I've always been the go-getter. And do not tell me I cannot do anything.
Nice.
Because I'm going to do it. So that is that laying that foundation there. And from how it came about, because I was always in local parlance thick. I always had full bust. So when a young lady gets to the stage of puberty and she starts to develop, my mom could not have afforded the proper bras for me to help taper in my breasts, right? And during that time, Wonderful Word would have just started out, and that's many years ago. And at that time, they used to do balance parcel. That's to tell you how long ago that was. And they just had one branch in a boutique mall in Port of Spain on Frederick Street.
Yes.
Yeah, and they used to do balance parcel. And my mom used to pay down on one of those fully fit boxes, and used to have everything looking like a cone, but it was very supportive. And that bra was reserved for church only. And when you come back from Sunday school, you come back from church, you wash that and you hang it up you had during the week for school. So the business really started out of that need. In 2005, going into 2006, while I was building my home, I took $1,500 out of my savings, and I just took the leap of faith, and I purchased 6 bras. I had no credit card. Crystal, she was with me then, and she has been with me from then to now, along with some of the faithful ones like Alana, Alicia, been there with me, Trisha from day one, Karen, another Anglican. And that is really how it started. I took the 6 bras, and I went in work, and I got them sold, and it just rolled around. It just blossomed from there. Every day was not Sunday because I was juggling so much. I was juggling a lot in that I was pregnant with my son. I was building my home during the day. I worked the night shift from 3 to 11 in the night. And I was doing my degree on a weekend.
Wow.
And then I started the business. So I was doing those 4 things all at the same time. And the business just grew from there, word of mouth. I used to go to people's homes and fit them, and they really, really liked the personalized service. Or sometimes I used to, by that time when Elijah was a bit older, I used to travel with him with my gym bag of bras and go to clients and have him with me. I didn't have a vehicle then, so I used to travel with the bus, so travel with a taxi or hire a taxi to go by customers. And some of those customers, all of those customers, I should say, are with me till this day. I'm saying all of this to say, as you ask the question, don't ever one despise the process, and you have to go through the process. And where you start is not where you end up. When you go through the process, going through the process is so very important. And not skipping steps. You cannot skip steps, and you cannot expect to be a millionaire overnight. Because
You
sometimes.
see that part that you say there, Peri, that is the thing, because I think that some people.
Now, hold on, I'm making the disclaimer. Me not a millionaire now, I just telling you something. When nobody coming by me to ask me to have milk and pampers to buy his map. Right.
No, I mean, that's the thing where I think that's the people have this glamorous side of owning your own business, that you're going to be making your own money and you're rich one time. And, what I'm hearing here is a lot of, struggling, a lot of, waiting for right moments to expand. You're not just going to expand one time. I mean, you said, you had your stuff in your living room, so I think this is really important information here with regards to anybody watching who may want to start a business. So thanks for sharing that.
Ayanna, in 2009, is it 2008 or 2009? I remember a day I hired a taxi to go and pick up goods. Listen to where we went, right? We went Port of Spain to pick up goods. And then we went in the east in Arima for me to meet one client. I met her for the first time. I sold one bra. It's $265 was the cost of the bra. And then I had to go south to meet another client. I got no sales. Guess how much money did the taxi driver charge me? $265.
Wow.
So how much money did I come home with? Let's do the math class. $0 and
0 cents.
that's very good. You're bright. You're real bright. But
wow.
you have to understand that when you're building something, it will have its ups and downs. And something that I am extremely protective of is leaving a legacy for my children. I don't play with that. I don't play with that. I don't compromise on that. Under no circumstances, nowhere, no how, no time. If you don't fall in alignment with that, you will be removed. You understand what I'm saying? I'm that passionate about that. Nope, it's leaving a legacy for my children and not playing. And not playing with it. Because the world that you and I would have grown up in, because I'm sure we're not too far in age. I'm 16, you're probably 18. So, the world that you and I would have grown up in is different to what they are growing up in. You understand? A cost of a block to build a house, maybe 65 cents 17 years ago. Now it's $5.40. You understand? So I leaving a legacy for my children, and that is something that is at the forefront to me. You know, that's something at the forefront to
Yeah.
me.
But I want to talk about that some more. Why is that so important? I mean, I want to make sure that my daughter is comfortable, of course, because that wasn't the life that I had. But I would admit I don't have the, how you say, if they're not in line with that, they would be removed. Like, why that sort of, shall I use the word ferocity, for that? What is the source of that?
I know what it is not to have.
Yeah.
I know what it is not to have. I know what that looks like.
Yep.
Yeah, because there are other things that I could mention for you to truly understand why I am the way that I am. But I'll send you a copy of the book, and probably in that you may understand it a bit better. But yeah, I'm not playing with you when it comes to making sure that my children are taken care of, and for them to understand the importance of them leaving a legacy. Because when you think about it, the Sabgas and the Bagwans things, their children and their children don't have to start from zero, and there would have been somebody that made a decision that my generation 40, 50, 60 years from now will not start from zero. I may start at zero, but bet your bottom dollar, my great-great-grandchildren that I may not meet will be able to benefit from what I am building here. And even if they don't get into the business of bras, at least the legacy of excellence would be left there for them. Putting your best foot forward. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that not everybody is cut out to be an entrepreneur or a business owner, because there are differences, but not everyone is like that. But you have to make up in your mind that, hey, this is what I am building here, that 15, 20, 25 years down the road, that foundation must be strong enough for other people to build on. And because I am the decision maker, I am going to be tired, I'm going to be drained, I'm going to be stressed out. But thank God, as I tell people, thank God for Revlon, Colasty, and Sasha Buttercup, that we are able to cover those things.
Yeah.
But that is where I'm at. I know what it is not to have.
Yeah, I understand that as well. And it's not something that I want my daughter to ever have to go through. So I feel energized by what you just said there, and I'm not going to start up no business, but I'm definitely going to do more to make sure, just like I said, that she doesn't start from zero. Yeah. She has something that if she wants to start a business, that she has some sort of cushion to start. So I thank you very much for the reminder for that.
And it doesn't even have to, and again, it could just be information.
Right.
It doesn't have to be a piece of land or a property or a business. While those things are well and good, it could be information. So information that you probably are now getting now that you didn't have at her age, give it to her now. Let her understand what it is when you pay your taxes, what you understand the whole tithing process, because I believe in tithing, and what that activates in the spiritual world, because these things are real. These things are real. You understand? So even if it's not something tangible that you could feel and you could touch, you give them the information. Because again, they are growing up in a different world. In a different world. And if they don't have nothing to stand up firm on, you understand? Yeah. If they have nothing, they will go through their own process and they will have to work things out. And that's something within the Anglican community, again, that you are given the opportunity to, you work it out. You may not understand everything one time. Who does?
Mm-hmm.
Every day is a day of learning, as my mom says, but give them that information. When they start to work, tell them put something aside. Tell them put something aside every month, even if it's $100 or something every month. So the government don't give you a house, and even if you qualify for a house, you can't get the house if you don't have the down payment for the mortgage. You understand? So teaching them
Yes.
to be prepared. Let them learn to drive from early, have that sense of independence. So it's not just tangibles, but it's also information. And stop telling our children, I struggle, so you had a struggle too. Let them have their struggle in their own way.
Yes.
Because I do
Yes.
not believe in spoon feeding children. I am not of that. But you give them the information and let them figure it out and let them find their own way. But giving them that information is important.
Yeah. Peri, that make real sense, I mean, when you talk about tithing, that could be a whole other thing, because I've seen where I wasn't giving God what was due.
I made
And
that mistake once in my life. I never do it again.
you know, you know, I don't play. I don't play. First thing that comes out of my salary is that, and then any number could play after that. I don't play. So and the thing is, I never really thought about teaching her about that, but thanks for the seeds that you're planting, Perry. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Um, Now you would have started your business, of course, pre-COVID, and then COVID came, and you would have had to, think about your business in a different way. Did that take place with Paris Plus, and what did you do?
Yes, because the business for next year would be 15 years. This year
Praise
is
God.
14 years, 15 years. But it's a lot of ups and downs and long pauses. Something because life does happen, life does happen. And with COVID, it just so happened that during the COVID time, I was pregnant. So in addition to me being home, um, going through all the up and downs where pregnancy was concerned, I was in and out of hospital a lot. And then we were closed. For the first major lockdown, retail would have been closed for about 3.5 months.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, how can I still stay relevant, still let customers see you? So I came up with the virtual bra room, VBR. And the aim of that was really to have videos every week, once a week, about different topics, how to fit, what to look for, do's and don'ts. So even though people couldn't go into the store, or even if they had to purchase online, they would know exactly what to look for. We had different types of bras. And it has now evolved, Ayanna, into this into this thing that people look forward to it
Nice.
every Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
The virtual bra room for us was our response to COVID. And then we were locked down again this year for about 4 months, May, June, July, August. So we used the virtual bra room again. So sometimes I may go into the store and do a video. Normally, all the videos that you see are pre-recorded. So whenever I have a little time, I might do a video on a topic and leave the video there. So when it's time, I have someone that helps me that will upload the video, etc.
Yeah.
So we try to have content for like a month or two in advance. I sat down in January of this year, December into January of this year, and I sat down and we worked out content for about 3 months.
Nice.
Um, we don't get it right all the time, but at least you try and the effort is still there. So yeah, that was the virtual bra room was our response to COVID.
Wow, that sounds really awesome. And it sounds as if, there's, as you spoke about community before, there's a community forming with the virtual bra room as well.
Yeah, because you have now with that too, you're connecting with your new customers and you're getting new customers as well. Because I had one lady that came on a wheelchair and she said, "Is this the place that did the virtual bra room?" And we were like, "Yeah, well, I saw you all and I checked out your page," and she came and she purchased bras. And you never know who is watching,
Mm-hmm.
who is listening, good, bad, and indifferent. You never know. So yeah. Yeah, it's a lot to juggle. It's a lot of hard work.
Yeah,
And
because
sometimes you feel like you're losing. Yeah. But again,
yeah,
thank God for Revlon Color Stay and Sasha Buttercup telling me.
because you have your children, you have your businesses, and I mean, you just want to be Peri sometimes too, right? You just want to relax and just not have to think about all these other things and just focus on something that you like.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's about finding that balance.
And it's hard. It is hard.
Yeah.
It is hard. What I decided to do, I am now, Ayanna, I am now learning to love me a little more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm now learning that as I told is it Kyle, I think. I am learning to walk in my power
Mm-hmm.
and walking in it, standing tall in it, not with a spirit of pride and haughtiness, but
Mm-hmm.
understanding who you are in Christ. That's what I mean.
Yes.
Son, I mean that is where I'm at. Having nice body scrubs and that kind of thing. That's my vibe. When I first started working, I had no chick, no child. I used to go to the spa and I used to buy
Yes.
the St. Iris line. I used to do the
Yes.
right, the scrub, the strawberry. That time now, that's like 7 when I was, the other day, because I'm only
Yes.
17 now, 18 now, right?
Listen, you
you know,
cannot catch me. My hair, I used to be by the hairdresser all the time. I
yeah,
my hairstyle up.
yeah,
Oh, yeah. I think for me, Perry, I really that came evident for me with the pandemic in the sense of you just realize sometimes it was just a cycle. You wake up in the morning, you drop your child to school, you go to work, you pick them up, then you do homework, eat, sleep, and then it was like a cycle. It was a cycle, and it was like I really asked myself, this all life is about, boy, this thing. And then when we had time to pause and really reflect on what is important, priorities started shifting, and things looked so different to me.
yeah,
So I hear clearly on starting to really love yourself and caring about yourself more. So I'm
yeah.
glad,
So
yeah, we
a
figured it out.
simple, a simple thing like just buying the body scrubs. I know someone that she makes and that kind of thing. Now I could make cream, and that's a business that I used to do before.
Mm-hmm.
I could make cream and body scrubs and thing.
Nice.
I have customers I have people that still buy from me, and I will just make for them alone body butters. I'm
Nice.
really good at that. But
Nice.
to sell, that's not my passion. You know what I mean? But
Yes.
it is a skill that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Body scrubs, and my body scrubs and the nice, or I might make my own cream, and that is my getaway time.
Mm.
That's my getaway
Nice.
time. Or going to the hairdresser, and even if it's just to make sure my hair is washed, and because she knows that I'm very busy, she normally accommodates me in the evening time or the afternoon time. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So and being an entrepreneur and being in community, Ayanna, you need to know how to live good with people.
Hmm.
You need to know how to live good with people as best as you can,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because those relationships, you cannot put a price tag on that.
Mm-mm.
Because you ever hear the term, I will do it as is you,
Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes, yes. Because
yeah,
it's you now.
yeah, because
Yeah,
it's you. I'll give you a as is you special.
yeah.
But don't ever take that for granted in business either. I hope I ain't boring, you know.
No. What you are doing is just really sparking a lot of things in my mind, things that I didn't really think about, certain perspectives that I didn't think about, and also reminders as well. So believe you me, you are not. One of the things I just wanted you to share is if there's any entrepreneur looking on right now, any young person watching that says, you know what, I want to start my own business, but they just don't know how to get it from their mind to bring it to actual fruition. What's one thing that you would tell them? One or two things that you would tell them?
Don't skip the process. And when I say don't skip the process, don't make any shortcuts.
Right.
Because you see, when you go through shortcuts, at the end of it, you don't enjoy it for very long. Don't skip the process. Don't take any shortcuts. Go through it. Because you see, when you go through it, it's in that point where you learn the lesson. India Ari has a song, I can't remember the name, right? Come Back to the Middle, that's the name of the song. When you're in the valley is only when you see in both sides. You know what I mean? So that's one thing I would say. And make up your mind to never give up.
Good one.
I'm normally told that I'm extremely strong-willed. And there is nothing wrong with that. Because in business, you need that. Because things are going to hit you from different directions, business-wise and personally, that you do not expect. How are you going to recover from it? How are you going to get up? And even in the moments where you feel as though you cannot get up, you still have to get up.
Yeah.
Even when the moments when you have $0 and 0 cents, you still have to get up. Another thing that just came to me, Ayanna, in being an entrepreneur, don't always think you need money. Sometimes you may need just relationships alone, and the money will come. Your attitude, and the money will come. Wow. You're making the decision to show up, and the money will come. Making the decision to get a book and write things down of what you wish or what you want it to be, and the money would come. Because I'll give you a perfect example. For the Entrepreneurship World Cup, right? Someone sent me the application, and I just be doing 34 million things. Me don't have time to write out this and write out that and thing. Me don't have time for that. So every Friday morning, these people messaged me, finish the application, Ms. Webster, finish the application. But it's just for me to sit still and finish the application, right? When I finally got the final message for that week, this is the deadline, finish the application. It's not that I had to sit down and think about what to write. I did not have to sit down and think about what I want for my business. I already have it written down. I already have it here. So you just enter the information. And I sent it, and I wasn't looking for anything. And when I saw in my junk mail that I was a finalist for the local leg in Trinidad, and that alone could only be God, because what's the odds of Holy Spirit telling me, go in your junk mail?
Exactly.
And mind you, when I opened up the letter, it was already dated a day or two before, right? And the finals for Trinidad was the day after. So I had 1 day to prepare.
Oh my, wow.
But I'm saying this to say to you, if it is that I wasn't prepared already, how it is I was going and talking to people and then thing? You understand what I mean?
Exactly.
I mean, and participating in the local leg and winning the local leg and coming third in the Caribbean just by being ready.
Right.
the money will come just by you being ready.
Yes.
I wasn't looking for none of that. I was just fed up with the people and them asking me every minute, finish your application, finish your application. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
But one, it's more than one testimony that could come out of that. One being God could still use things in your junk. Because what you think in your junk may not be valuable. And two, another lesson, it's good to be prepared. Yeah. And three, making yourself open to receive.
Yeah.
And you see, even though I had a day to prepare, because I do the media and I do the talking and that kind of thing, articulating myself is not a problem.
Exactly.
Yeah, I could talk. I could look pretty and I could talk. So yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that is what I would tell the entrepreneurs. So having a strong mind is not a bad thing. And being ready. You see, having your book, whether it's a notebook or whatever, and you write down everything, whether you want to have your vision board or however the fancy term people and them just want to call it now.
Yeah.
Write it down. Is it in Nehemiah where God said to write the vision and make it plain? Yeah, write the vision and make it plain. But as somebody pointed out to me some years ago, Peri, God say write the vision and make it plain. He didn't tell you to finance it, he didn't ask you his business. And that stuck with me when we did Bra Festival in 2017. Write it down, write the vision and make it plain. And I'm talking to you, Ayanna, and I think I needed to talk to you so that God could remind me that, Peri, you're doing okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna lie to you, Ayanna, it's plenty. It's plenty, but then this brings another point. Do not expect God to give you plenty if you're not a good steward of a little.
Peri, you just God, speak more on that, Peri. Speak more on that.
You cannot expect God to give you $1 million. I have not received one as summers yet, but if you do, feel free to share it with me at good faith. But do not expect God to give you plenty in anything, and you are not a good steward of it, of a little. And another thing I would want to say to any young entrepreneur, money has its own energy. Money has its own energy. You do not make it an idol, but you give it its due respect. So, sometimes when we buy things, and I used to be guilty of that. Sometimes if you go and you buy something and you get change, you just shove it in your bag.
Yes.
And sometimes when you're cleaning out your purse, you might find a $5 or $2 or whatever, and it crumple up and all over. Fix it. Fix it in your purse. Fix it properly. I used to be guilty of that. And I made up my mind about, I would say, around the beginning of this year, to change how I operate where that is concerned. Because, you're busy and you just...
Can I get a change and just shove it in your bag?
Money, somebody taught me that last year, and it is the truth. Don't have it all over. Put it properly. And do not despise simple beginnings. If you want to build an apartment building and you start off putting $1 every day, you continue doing it. You know, I have a saying that drip, drip does fill. Well, old people let's say that drip, drip does full bucket, and it is the truth.
True.
Drip, drip does full bucket, and money has its own energy, and you must respect it. Yeah.
But I want to ask a question though. With regards to having a vision for your business, how can one find the balance between accepting advice from someone or allowing someone to change your vision? Did you ever have to experience that where someone was like, nah, Peri, bras for plus size people, why don't do this? Anybody came at you like that?
I'm very strong-minded, Ayanna.
True.
Nobody
can't tell you.
Nah. Once I make up my mind, once I make up my mind, you could say what you want. Unless Jesus himself come and tell me in my face, it's not so, I going through with it. You understand? But you have to be discerning, and that's one of the things you ask God to give you, that spirit of discernment.
Yes.
We are human and we do not always obey, we do not always listen to it. But you must know and feel the energy of somebody who is giving you constructive criticism and somebody who just small-minded and they don't want to open their minds and they don't want to see you succeed, because that is the reality of life. Again, I am very blessed with people, my inner circle. They do not tell me what they think I want to hear.
Good.
You know, so I have people who are with me by my side, and then I have those that are in the background. You wouldn't see them, you wouldn't hear them, but rest assured, if they hear something or they see something that they don't like or they get a feeling about something, rest assured 9-10 o'clock in the night, I am going to get a phone call. Nobody else will know about the phone call, but I will get that phone call. I have one person in particular. I call her my president. You know, she has powers that she thinks she doesn't have. Yeah, like that. Yeah. No, she would be in the background observing. And I am very, very blessed to have people like that. And you don't need a big circle.
Yes, true.
You don't need a big circle, but you take the criticism, because in the earlies, not the criticism, you take it, but you have to filter out what you need from what you don't need, right?
Good.
Because I had a vision in my mind of having the brass really full of busted woman, because I understand what it is when you go to the store and they just want the sale, and then when you finish, they tell you, tell them number 11, me help you by the cashier.
Right.
So I just made up in my mind that my customers will not have that experience.
Fantastic.
So that's it for me. Everybody has their niche, but as mine. And then people would, in the early used to say, Peri discriminating against smaller busted women. So gradually we brought it in. And it's not just for plus size people, but remember, you may have a woman with a small frame but big bust. You may have somebody that is a relatively bigger frame and smaller bust. You know what I mean? So no, I didn't. I took the criticism, but that particular person I told you about, she just always tell me, you know, you go do what you want anyway, which is true. But
right.
But I have people like that in my corner.
Wow. Peridots, you just dropped so many gems here. It was completely unexpected. I expected the interview to go a particular way. It just went another way, and I am just so excited and delighted by that. And the time is quickly wrapping up. So I want to hear from you, Peri. What is your go-to scripture and your favorite hymn? Just to wrap up.
My favorite hymn, you know, I had to call somebody.
I hope you still remember.
My favorite Hallelujah, sing to Jesus. His the scepter, his the throne. That is my favorite hymn ever. And my favorite Bible verse, reached down from on high and took hold of me. He drew me out of deep waters. He rescued me from my powerful enemy. What stood out for me in this Psalm 18, was the fact that he reached down from on high, because, sometimes we think God is God.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't, we can't reach there. But to think that to think that God being omnipotent and all of that, still take any time to reach down and grab your tail from your foolishness and say, hey, I'm watching you, I tell you I love you already. Always you're seeing. To think that the creator of the universe, that even the smallest bird, he created the organs inside of that, that he knows them by name and number, that he does not forget us. Because when you think about it, with all the people in the world, he's a real busy human. He real busy, he busy. So to think that those words stood out for me, he reached down. So if you reach down for something, it means, and you're coming for something, it means you're being very specific. You want that particular thing. God wants to come and snatch me up. And that and it also goes back to the relationship that he wants to have with us. And that is something that I am also relearning. I don't get it right all the time, Ayanna.
No, we
I
don't.
don't get it right at all. Yeah, I don't get it right at all. Sometimes I don't. But I'm learning that. So I would say right now, in this phase of my life, that scripture stands out for me.
Yes.
That scripture stands out for me at this stage in my life, to remember that when you think about all that you are going through, he coming down to take you up. When you really think about it, he really check for you.
He does, huh? He does.
Yeah, so that is, sometimes it's overwhelming. Like Thursday, I just had to take a ticky time out and pause, because it's plenty.
Yeah.
Things that you could say and things that you can't say. You know what I mean? But yeah, and God would have it that within the last 2 weeks, people are asking me to do interviews and that kind of thing. And the repetitiveness of what I'm saying is God telling me, I have you.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
Wow. I enjoyed this conversation, Peridot. I really, really did. I thought you were gonna talk about completely different things, but I really enjoyed the reminders that you share, the lessons learned. And I might not apply to, say, starting a business, but I can apply to my job and to even projects that I may want to start, not necessarily business wise, but I can apply those things to my life. So
As you said, job. As you said, job. For people who have jobs and you have your business, don't leave your work to go and start the business unless Jesus tell you to, right?
You're right. Important.
Let me be real about it.
Yeah.
I went a pack of saltfish, it's $34.99. It used to be $26. It's $34.99. So don't leave your work, right? Don't leave your work to go and start a business. You have to move in wisdom. You have to move in wisdom. You have to carve out some time to dedicate to your business while you are working. And when you think you have reached to the point, well, yes, I can do X, Y, and Z, then you leave. You know, the same friend that I told you that I have that I consider my president, she said, don't leave the work, let the work leave you. You know, and that is so very true. So that just dropped in my spirit to say, yeah, because we don't know who listening, who will
exactly.
listen.
Yeah, somebody might be like, hey, I ready to start my business. I can't take this boss, so let me leave. Yeah, you really have to be inspired by the Holy Spirit to really make those decisions, you know.
And don't be afraid to jump and to be brave and asking questions. And you don't need every customer. You don't need every customer. Because sometimes you may have a customer that will stress you out. Because I do not believe in the marketing adage that the customer is always right. If there is no human being that is perfect, how can the customer always be right? The customer must be given the best of what you have to the best of your ability. Yes. If you made an error, you correct it. Yes. But I don't believe in that. I believe in that you. Yeah. Sorry about that. Another call came in. As best as you can, and ensure that you give a good customer service experience. That you give. Again, you don't always get it right, but you try your very best.
Always, in everything, try your best.
Yeah, because if a customer come to tell you, if I want 10 of these things free, the customer always right, you'll get it. So how the customer always right?
When we have friends or people that we know who have their business, right? Somebody might say, hey, give me a discount now. And I personally don't agree with that, right? In the sense of, you know, you're always asking for a discount. I think, you know, support this person in what they're producing, you know, with the price that they're offering. I mean, if you can't afford, you can't afford, right? But, you know, it's, instead of asking for a discount, that's not something I would say is a good thing for someone who's trying to grow their business. I don't know how you feel about that.
I agree. I know what I want to say, but I'm trying to find the best way to say it. I don't agree with that. Give me the opportunity to give you that discount.
Yes, exactly. I agree with that completely. That offer be made, you know?
Yeah, because when people go to a restaurant that a quote unquote high-end restaurant, you don't ask for a discount now, do you? Yeah, you pay your $400 for a half teaspoon of rice, and you pay your 10% service charge, and you pay your 15% VAT, and okay.
You pay a full price for any small business, anybody in small business, you know?
Yeah, and most of the time, Ayanna, the truth is, most of the time, when small businesses have a price, most of the time, they're not making much money out of it, because they love what they do, you know. Remember, they are not able to purchase in bulk. So most of the time, until they form a relationship with a vendor, they are being charged a retail price for whatever raw material they are going to use. Until they form a relationship years after. So I don't believe in that. That's just me.
I agree with you as well. So, yeah. Wow, this has really been great. This has really been great. And thank you for sharing. Thank you for being open and just sharing with us some of the highs and the lows of being in business. Of course, I wish you all the best in all your endeavors, right?
Thank you.
I feel I need to come and visit you to get fitted properly for a bra, because I mean, the thing is, but you know, in getting a bra, I think I just remember going in the store with my mother and just get a bra, and that's it.
Yeah.
There was no measuring, there was no, and you know, is either a black bra, a beige bra, a kind of pink bra. I mean, we could live a little bit, right, Peri? We could live a little bit with some colors, right?
Yeah.
So I really thank you for sharing. I wish you all the best in everything, and you know, looking forward to, you said there's a bra festival coming up.
No, bra festival was in 2017. I wanted to have another one, but COVID.
Yeah, COVID.
Life and COVID. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I definitely want to check out the virtual bra room to get some tips and you know, to see what's going on that side. So thank you very much for sharing, Peri. And
thank you for having me.
Of course. And to everyone watching, remember the 3 W's: wash your hands, wear your mask, and watch your distance. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.